yup matie kabieno la kelia ye
Sam's Crisp oberongira mwera madano weng mare Uganda. Jami pa Sam's timapo likine obero crisps melayata, crisps megonja, cookies, odi, berenge kemukene mapola ta. Nong jami pa Sam's Snacks e supermarket duju matilo baman. Sam's Snacks, noa pora mamite.
Ajolo in metikane no One Road TV udik matin ketma chako kwede ki program oberu kanywan ki Emma Kwer walo kumji maduong wa chako ki lokum bare ma minister wachi logoberie anti kwa jini ki ono en ikara make mare ki bene dongo wachi tin against nanduto ketika dwako en chen I court kin lok mo kana mo walo ye matek wachi ar wanero lokum uyeyeng motime uyeludano kun wachi dana maduong otaye ihoima pekoti kono Robert Chagulanyo beri wote matek total ento awano miguri unen chot ikar malori mo achiel kiwacho no pero ma dano bino yakaye ngara chelo to dana pa tie kitika madugi oyat madit meno oberi kinjimo kene ma pat mo logaye wachiar waya bogalam ento segment eni wawachi waiberu ki welo watiki guest studio Obino kanyka loko mgir makloni crop champion ki aki idul makloni God Lion International magen gi yewo mocham mapatpat magen gi kero polkara ijib mawano foro itilo fu itika mero fu bet chok TV mamegi wete bet ki kare ke loke nuarimpa ma en aki idul mi God Lion International Uye Werajol, and you're most welcome for the show.
Thank you, sir.
Yes, dear viewers, itika watching One Road TV, watching watie kan ki dul mi Gold Lion. Kidma change ni watiki inyi mecha wakan ki nermot. Gen gitika yupo fertilizer makonyo kelo mocham ifu mamegi. Now, kidma kitiyu kwere kidma umiriti kwede ene wea wanoluo nuarimpa bino kanyka wachwa matot chakone kon en ubotero maduonge ilokum crop champion. Yes, you're most welcome. I was doing a brief intro and also telling them that we'll start our conversation about the product. Basically, crop champion.
Yes.
What do we need to know about crop champion? For those who are watching us for the first time.
Yes, viewers of One Road TV. My name is Norim Panagawa. I'm from Gold Lion Agriculture Group, and I'm from the Department of Sales. Us as Gold Lion, we are located in Kawempe, and we've been on the market for 2 years so far now. And we do, I think if I can take you about a brief history, we started testing Crop Champion 2017 in Uganda. So far now, I think it's a good product right now on the market. Then with us, we have a product that we do manufacture. It's called Crop Champion. As you can see it on the screen, that's our package. It's called Crop Champion, that's a product name. And the components inside, we have NPK and calcium. Our ratios for NPK, it's 20/20, and then there's 10% of calcium and trace elements. It's a foliar fertilizer, meaning you mix in water and then apply on the leaves. That's a product that we have. It's packed in 300 grams.
You know, every time we talk about fertilizers, people have different opinion, either to use fertilizers or not to use them. But of course, some of these questions can only be answered when we have guests like you who is engaged in the business. Somebody would say, but you know, my land is fertile. I have everything that I need for my crop, not knowing that the yields could definitely be affected. So at this point, one would be asking, why should a farmer actually use any of these products? Why should I think about Crop Champion?
So if we were to talk about the reasons why a farmer should use Crop Champion come this season, one of it is that if you want high yields this season, all you need is Crop Champion. It's a fertilizer. It's going to boost your growth if I'm talking about the growth, if you want high yields, you want your crops to grow as fast as possible, you just need a fertilizer. It's like a booster. It's going to boost the growth for the plant. And then if it comes to the, let me say, the growth stages of a plant, we have 3 growth stages of a plant. So meaning if you're under, let me say you're doing a nursery bed of any crop, you're also maybe on the vegetative stage, you're on the fruiting stage, all you need is Crop Champion, because with Crop Champion, it works on all stages. Those are the 3 stages I'm talking about: nursery bed or starter, then vegetative stage, and then fruiting and flowering. It works on all stages. And if it comes to the crops, it's going to work on all the crops that you have, let it be perennial crops, annual crops, vegetables, fruits, any crop that you're growing, it works there. So those are the advantages maybe that I can say. If you need Crop Champion, you want high yields, you want something that is going to take you all throughout the stages. No need to be, let me say, like I've reached the fruiting and flowering stage, then I need to go back to the agro deal and ask which crop can I, which product can I use? No, you just need Crop Champion for all the stages that you're going to have. And then the other thing is it's drought resistant and it's cold resistant. If you're doing your farming in a rainy season, you can use it. Even during the dry season, you can still use it. It doesn't have anything like a limitation attached to it. You use it all throughout. Those are maybe the advantages of why you need to use Crop Champion come this season.
Well, nuwarin patika wacho ngoma gen gitawni piara tap twali wachini company mamegi makilone Gold Lion no chako yipo fertilizer makimedo mik nano ket machamwa romo chakwa mabe magen gilone Crop Champion mawache Piratek ni in romo tich ki ye fertilizer ni cha moye ken PM pere konyo kidma chami romo yope kwere we kaju ben mati gena Piratek gi wani fertilizer mege ni pipoko kare kono kare moto mapinyo dia ka nyo kare mano pinyo to ka ini kare poro ini neno adukine kidma kwere kono gwakdo amira penyene ni pol kare ka dante ka wachini watika tich ki fertilizer adukine marach berutie to twale ingom make wachini bokromo balu ngomo ikar mo malach uye wega penye ka eno metek loye klemoro ana duako matwerne ilep mamegwa. Yes, I was trying to explain what you've said, but also taking a deeper understanding to ask on their behalf. Many times people are skeptical about the use of fertilizers, especially with its effect on environment. How would you rate Crop Champion in terms of environment support and protection?
Yeah, true. Some people normally ask us maybe if I'm going to use your Crop Champion, since it's a foliar fertilizer, I've applied it on the leaves, will the bees come? Some people are asking us maybe, does it have any effect on the bees? As us with Gold Lion, even if you get our circuit behind, there's that log. Our fertilizer is eco-friendly. It doesn't have any effect on the bees, anything to do with the soil or a plant. Because the moment you apply it, you remember applying it on the leaves. So if you apply it on the leaves, it will go direct to the leaves. It does what it's supposed to do with the plant, and that's it. The moment you do the harvesting and the next season you're planting, you need to apply Crop Champion for another time. It has just gone with what you've been planting.
Yes,
it doesn't remain in the soil or anywhere.
Well, apa yuni kai kero fertilizer ni piramo kelu aduki maraji kumngom tika wachini megini piramo tema gemai kan kibero miario ni piami onyi chung ipok yat nyo ipok chama ini pero iroma no ni food kich ma konyo nani chamo mi kopo fertilization ikum mo chama pat ben kich food rom bion beri ya tora nyoro meteke kwa megino po neroge chi pitiki aduki marach mano romo ballo chiak pacham mamegi Pierre Bentek. Most of the time people don't seem to understand the importance of bees when it comes to cropping, especially at the flowering stage, because for them they think it's all about their yields, it's about the crops growing up. And when you spoke about the bees, I was thinking that probably, if you say that it's a foliar what?
Foliar fertilizer.
A foliar fertilizer.
Yes.
Like, how many people understand when you tell them about the foliar fertilizer? What would be the understanding for a common man?
Yeah, when I talk about a foliar fertilizer, if we are to go under the category of fertilizers, we have 2 types of fertilizers. There is the one we call a soil product. It's a fertilizer. It's applied onto the soil. Then there is a foliar fertilizer that you apply onto the leaves. So the uptake varies. There are those products that their uptake is through the roots, and then there are products whereby the uptake is through the leaves. So for us, it's a foliar fertilizer. Its uptake is through the leaves. It can only work if it's applied on the leaves. If you put it on the soil, it won't work.
Well, me watching any fertilizer megini ki onyi ngom peromotich. And okay, me rotima be me on pok yan nyo pok ginma kodima ini peroni. Chi inoni Ramadan yema be chi bene konya ni chami uno mo chamo ni mano tikamete. But well, most of the time we have been on this show, people keep on saying we always give them the numbers very late. They don't know where to buy your products from. But also sometimes they say, well, we have seen so many companies coming in place. What do you stand for as Gold Lion? What is that you think is very important? What was the purpose for you coming up with Gold Lion and coming up with Crop Champion? Because sometimes you might speak of a company or a product and you don't give people a snap peek into why you are there as a company. So somebody think, wow, these have come to make money. But beyond the making of the money, where is the brand positioned? So briefly, you take us about the location and maybe the purpose of your company and where people can come and find these products.
Maybe about that, us as Gold Lion, the purpose why we came to save our farmers in terms of the inputs. So when I'm talking about the inputs, farmers have inputs they put in during their farming, and one of them is a foliar fertilizer. This is the product that we came up with. And this one, with our package, if you see our package, this pack works on 1 acre. So meaning us as a company, we came on ground to save our farmers, to see how best they can put in the money so that to get our yields. That's why we came with this one package of 1 acre. Our target, we want our farmers, because most of the people that have been comparing it, they say it is small, can it work on 1 acre? Yes. As small as it is, it works on 1 acre. That's why we want, as a farmer, if you can just get these 3 circuits, they are enough to take you throughout the season. No need for you to be saying, maybe I don't have money to go and do, let me say, like buy the bags. They're always somehow cheap, somehow expensive. So you can use our product if you don't have money and still get the high yields as the same person who has used a soil product. And then maybe on the other hand, it being a foliar fertilizer, you can use it at any time. Because with a soil product, you need water, or let me say you need rain for the soil products always like pellets, for them to dissolve and release the nutrients. But with us, the moment you just apply it there, it works without anything like for it to first dissolve or any condition attached to it. So that's why maybe we came up to help farmers. Maybe even if there's no rain, you can still do your farming.
No, talking about the different aspects of how it should be used, when it should be used, and you think the circuit is enough to take the farmers through the different periods, and then you have the 3 stages of planting where somebody needs 3 of the packets.
Yes.
The question now here is, what are some of the precautions that we need to take when we have to apply? Especially one, I know you say always 1 spoon, 20 liters, 1 circuit, 200 liters, that's for a whole acre.
Yes.
Now, if that is going to work, what is this node you want to give to guide the farmers? The precaution you want to say, hey, this is Crop Champion, don't do A, B, C for effective results.
Yes. So with us, if you're mixing, make sure when you get our circuit, you can always look behind. There is the mixture and the intervals when you're supposed to apply our Crop Champion. So coming this season, we've introduced in the spoons. You'll be seeing them, they're like this. Our spoons are for 15 grams. So most of the people have been complaining about how can I measure your fertilizer. So with us, right now, the package that we are making, they're having spoons inside. Our spoons are for 15 grams. So with 15 grams, you only need 2 spoons to make 30 grams. That's why we provided the spoons inside our circuits. Every time you're buying a circuit, there's always a spoon inside. So just measure those 2 spoons that you found inside. 2 spoons in 20 liters of water. If you have an acre, the 300 grams works on 1 acre.
Well, Tika wachi gen gi karo ki yup mamegini ke wilo kodi eni onyo ke wilo fertilizer mamegini maybe chero ka tich kodi poro. Saket moka ken ma ini wilo tiki malaga iye. Now malaga eni konyi mi pimu kitmo mirono ini wat kodi, but also atamani minyang matot pol kare ka ini wilo fertilizer ini miri pen joma intika wilo borgini kitma miro ichet ichiti kodi. Wak pe ket maduong bena pe ket manok tutwat. Maybe to proceed with our conversation. For example, right now it's a shaky moment. We are not sure whether it's raining up to about the end of the month, or probably the rain will stop. Now, some people say when you put the fertilizers after it has rained, I think you actually even mentioned it, that when it rains, after you've applied the fertilizer, probably it will be washed away by the rain. If you apply it in the morning, I don't know whether it can be affected by the dew. So the question that my farming community out there in northern Uganda wants to understand is when do I apply Crop Champion? When and how?
Yes. So for the application, you're going to start applying at week 2. Everything that you've planted, let it be maize, let it be anything. The moment I've just come out of the cell and I've reached week 2, that's our starting point. Because most likely, there are like 3 to 4 leaves. That's our starting point. If you have a nursery bed, this week 2 finds you in a nursery bed. You start using Crop Champion from a nursery bed. Then on this first stage, where I'm saying you apply Crop Champion on week 2, our target, we are targeting root development. Your plants should be having enough roots to absorb the water from the ground, and they should have enough roots to support them as a plant. We don't want your plant to be as big as it can be when it doesn't have the roots down the basement to support them. So with stage 1, you're supposed to be having enough roots. If you're doing a nursery bed, most likely, your target as a person who is doing a nursery bed, you're targeting to be having as many roots as possible. So when we go to stage 2, here it's a vegetative stage. We are targeting our leaves. Our leaves should be as big enough. The surface area should be big enough to absorb the sunlight. And when you come to the leaves, they should be dark green. They shouldn't be having anything like yellow. The moment you're seeing that thing, maybe it's yellow, just know you're making little food for the plant. It should be dark green so that it can absorb the sunlight. Then the last stage or the third stage, it's for fruiting and flowering. Sometimes you're going to be having your crops, maybe the buds have come out, but they're not yet, okay, they've delayed to do the flowering. Or maybe you've done your cropping and maybe there's something like delayed flowering. And maybe sometimes you're going to be having these flowers that have come out, maybe they're little, or some of them that have come out, they are many, but after sometimes they're going to drop. Maybe that we normally call it flower abortion. Your flowers are just dropping. That's why we are applying on this stage 3. With this stage 3, we are targeting anything to do with flowering and fruiting. The flowers should come out properly, and they should be many, and they should stick there. They shouldn't having anything like falling. And then with us, we're also having calcium in our package or in our Crop Champion. So with calcium, it's going to make your plants strong. Sometimes you're going to be having, let me say you're having stems, but stems are weak. They cannot support the plant. Yes, you have the fruits, but the stems are so weak. You need calcium, or maybe sometimes you're going to be having fruits that have matured, that have reached harvesting stage, but you're seeing them crack. It's not a disease, but it's an indicator that your plants are lacking calcium. They need calcium so that they can be as strong as possible to hold the fruits, to hold anything, maybe coffee or what. They should be strong. So these are the stages, let me say the intervals that we do. We start at week 2, we apply, we leave 2 weeks, we apply for the second time, and the last stage is when they are fruiting and flowering. And maybe sometimes if you're having a challenge of low yields, the farmers who do plant, they give a plant each and everything. But then when you reach at the point of harvesting, you're seeing low yields. That could be an indicator. Maybe your soils are poor, they cannot support the plant. You need to apply a fertilizer. If you're having poor soils or your yields have been low, you need to boost your yields with a fertilizer. And maybe if you're also having, let me say, stunted growth, there are those people that do plant their things, but they cannot be of the same height. Some are tall, some are short. You also need a fertilizer to boost the growth so that they can be at the same pace.
Well, atamani mano gin ma eno kati kwede matika tirne kore ngoma in romo timone wega ti mabe ki crop champion. Ento kid man waji kwede ni kafuri piero kuri mamegi apera pulkar ni inge chabera rio ene in romo chako tich ki fertilizer eni. Mano no luere konyo ni chama ini piero ni luere udonyi ngom. Luere ni udonyi ngom konyo mako kuri ma ini piero ni wako chung mabe. Dong nyurni kadiri obolo kome romo beni romo tingune pino pek nyo pidak romo norne mi ario ichier stage mi ario man ingecha bera beach inodong ikorni chok chama mege chako toro indare bino imere fertilizers man kelo stages adek ma pat gina pera tera yeni mireneni luet chama intika karneni uchung mabe onyo oyope mabe onyo ukati mabe wako kon tingu te nyo cham mano obonywal inge kenyu eni kadong inti ka meta fertilizer kome konyo neni cham ochiek mabe onyo onyak mabe ikin jimu kene maduong ma eno loko atamani okati mati ati uye wako meta nyim kono abi penyu ni ki nero mamot polkar ni dano tiyo ki fertilizers pat ino dula chila no teka karo ki fertilizer mamengi moni bino charo wachi eni be moni bino wachi eni be ngara chila tika goyo duro pi products mamege ento amerno niang apora iken mamege ni kipa jamo kanani tikwe so I've explained what you've told us, and I was just asking them, like most of the time in marketing strategy, everyone will come and say, my product is this, but based on the test that has been undertaken, when you rate Crop Champion, because my last conversation with you, you were very outright and you said, don't mix the fertilizers because they all have different grades of mixing. You might use Crop Champion and then you get another fertilizer, you add to Crop Champion and then you don't know which one has stronger chemicals that will end up spoiling the yield. And your first caution is don't mix the chemicals.
Yes.
And so it takes me to ask you a question. What's the difference between your products and other people's products? Or according to you, what do you think sets you aside from the other products?
Maybe before you had asked me about the precautions, I didn't take our farmers through. So with the precautions, when you're using Crop Champion, as you had said, you don't mix it with any other crop. Just use Crop Champion alone. And then for the, when do you apply Crop Champion? You will apply Crop Champion in the morning when the dew is not there on the leaves. When it has just dried up, that's when you apply Crop Champion. Or if not, you apply it in the evening when there is little sunshine. If you apply when there is too much sunshine, it's going to evaporate. Remember, you're applying it on the leaves. So you either apply in the morning or evening hours. Then for the mixture, just use it alone. And then maybe if you have applied Crop Champion, you make sure you leave 7 hours. We give it 7 hours for it to have worked. So if you have applied Crop Champion and it rains before the 7 hours have elapsed, you have to go back and apply Crop Champion. It will be washed away. And then for the, maybe if you've opened Crop Champion, there's always a zip on top. Maybe by accident, if you've cut off the zip, make sure if you're not going to finish Crop Champion, maybe you've picked like 2 tablespoons in 20 liters, you have a small garden, you're not going to finish it, make sure you close Crop Champion. If you leave it open, you can either get something and tie it, or you get a polythene paper and just fold it and put it in a bag and keep it. Don't leave it open, because the moment you leave it open, it's going to absorb the air and it changes the form from powder to liquid. It's always blue in color and powder, but the moment you leave it open, it's going to change the form into liquid and you find a problem in the measurements. And then maybe about the question that you asked me for the differences between our product and other products. With our product, I think the difference with it, it works on all stages. Some products on the market, they are specific for a stage. With us, it works on all stages: nursery bed, vegetative, fruiting, and flowering. And then it's also containing calcium. And the other difference that I had told you, it's drought resistant and cold resistant. Those are the differences. Maybe you can slightly get in our product and you don't get in the other products.
Well, eno mi ola bolni ki miro tich ki crop champion polkarne kebi karo i kori mamegi nyobi jar ka kiarne poro peki i diko chan mano fut ngejutie pm penge ngomano ramatime pi maton ani nyotoyo ramo wakone yat pimago ke fertilizer pimago kom kodini maber to also polkar mi kwekong toyo ao ka inichimet fertilizer mamegi ni kidong gena pera tek wayini polkar ka wo yabo saket pa crop champion ma wiye titolo mirnene ka tio tich kwede ke fong wiyo wek tich kwede obed mayot apoka me matie iken kori mameg e fertilizer mamegi ki enni yan bene o mette o wachwa ketma en gen kitamni pertek apoka ne tie kwede ento uye chao ben tika chiar matek twal ametina penya penya chiara yo money well when you say I am planting beans, another person is planting tomatoes, another person is doing carrots, another person is doing maize and corn, different crops but the same fertilizer. Take for example, if I am thinking about planting eggplants or I am going to do a vegetable, do I have specification on how to apply crop champion or how does it work on other crops or certain crops? Just like I've said.
Yes, true.
Carrot, tomato, beans, maize, sweet potato, name them.
Yes. So for the crops, how you apply it, all the crops are going through the 3 stages of growth. That's why we specify the 3 stages of growth, and that's when they need more of the fertilizer to boost the growth. So with us, it's the same dosage, and the way I told you, it works on all crops. So if you're doing maize, you will start at week 2, then you apply at week 5, then the last stage is when they're fruiting and flowering. If you're doing this coffee, you will put before flowering, then after flowering. If you're doing tea, you will put at budding and then after picking. So if you get crop champion, just look behind. There are intervals of different crops and it cuts across. All crops are going through the 3 stages of growth. It's the same dosage, 2 tablespoons. And right now we have, as I told you, we have our spoons inside. So you just measure those 2 spoons in 20 liters of water and then apply on all crops. Because remember, we're applying on the leaves and all crops have the leaves. Just apply on all crops, don't segregate.
And maybe just before I summarize what you've said, what would be your final word to the people watching One World TV this morning?
Oh, our customers, we have agro dealers, cooperatives, farmers. We just want to say thank you. You've really supported us since day one when we came on the market. And maybe for this coming season, if you want high yields, you want strong roots, you want strong seedlings, anything you want to do with yields, you just need crop champion. And maybe if you're doing wholesale in Container Village, we have a shop there, Joseph Farm Supply on Kingsway Plaza, for agro dealers, for commercial farmers. If you want to do shopping in big numbers, you can go there and access our product on a factory price. And then here on Lower TV, we run our adverts. In case you've missed out the program, you can pick the number from there and call us. And on our screen, there are also contacts there. You can call us, reach out to Crop Champion. If you have a circuit, behind there's also a number for our office. You can also call. We can help you out and we see how best you can get high yields come this season. Crop Champion, it's a farmer's best choice.
Afoy matek manolog mo aki bot no rimpa entika aki dul makloni God Lion Agriculture kon gengi yobu gid makloni Crop Champion anolog ji maduong kit mera matich kwede camera manong ye Crop Champion we ko kon catch mamegi yomo pat tutwale bodlofu i level mo ken mirenene ino kero amera foyo jomo bedi programman amera foyo Emma mi doc chening set mi producing show any dan mati camera okia mati control room producer mamegwa banya kidong hamuza mi bedo karachel kwedwa udiok matin oye wa geka kan anya pat Robert Larobe.
Yup mai beru kaneno ne lekelia ye
Sam's Crisip oberongira mwera madano weng mare Uganda. Jami pa Sam's timapo likine obero Crisps melayata, Crisps megonja, cookies, odi, berenge kemukene mapola ta. Nong jame pa Sam's Snacks e supermarket duju matilo baman. Sam's Snacks, no apora